Hi friends, welcome to your YouTube channel Indian Tax Seminaries. Today we are going to discuss about the GST composition schemes. Why government launched the GST composition scheme? What is the benefit? What is the conditions? All we are discuss today. Section 10 of the GST law contains the provision with respect to the registration of taxpayer under the composition scheme for the benefit of small taxpayer. When the GST launched in 2017 by the government of India, there was a lot of trouble facing by especially small taxpayers because the scheme was new and not even a small, but the many taxpayers, even a large taxpayers, a big businessman is also facing this trouble. But looking to the problem facing by the small taxpayers, the government of India taken a decision to give a relief to the small taxpayers by providing them a GST composition scheme. And the section 10 of the GST law give the power to the government to give the benefit to the small taxpayer for less compliance of the GST law and in the tax also. And that's why the government of India launched a GST composition scheme. Everyone can take this benefit, but there is some criteria, some condition you have to follow. There are two criteria. First, your turnover threshold limit, and second is the type of dealer. What is the first? Turnover. Your turnover must be up to 1.5 crore. Means if your turnover is up to 1.5 crores, you can opt GST composition scheme. If your turnover is more than 1.5 crores, you cannot opt the GST composition schemes. But there is another condition, the turnover for a specified dealer, that is 75 lakh. If the registered taxpayer is belong to the given list of the state, his turnover threshold limit will be 75 lakh. If these taxpayers is more than 75 lakhs turnover, then also he cannot opt the composition scheme. The second condition is type of dealer. You must be a manufacturer or trader or restaurant service provider. Means other than this service provider cannot opt a composition scheme. But there is an amendment in 2019 that the manufacturer or trader providing a service and the value of the service is 10% of turnover or 5 lakh rupees, whichever is lower, can also opt GST composition scheme. What is mean it? It is mean it that if you are manufacturer or trader, but you are providing a service, certain services, but the turnover is up to 10% of turnover or 5 lakh rupees, then you can opt composition scheme. But if you are providing a service, whether it is whether if you are a manufacturer or trader, but you are providing a service more than 10% of your turnover or 5 lakh more than 5 lakh rupees, then you cannot opt GST composition scheme. If you are other than restaurant service provider, you can also opt GST composition schemes, but you should be a small service provider. And what is meant by small service provider? If the small service provider other than the restaurant have a turnover less than 50 lakh, then you can opt GST composition scheme. If the service provider, his turnover is more than 50 lakh, he also cannot opt the composition scheme. How to apply for composition scheme? You have to apply a composition scheme before the beginning of financial year. Means you have to apply and compliance all the conditions before the 1st April, before the new financial years begin, up to 31st March. And what is the process? Go to the GST portal, then in the service, registration application to opt a compositions levy. You can also see here service. If you registered, there will be options here. The name is application to opt a compositions levy. Fill the required information, and you can opt that service. Main part, what is the rate of tax under the composition scheme? Obviously, if the government is launching this scheme, the rate will be less because it is benefit for the small taxpayers. If you are a manufacturer, then 1% of turnover. If you are a trader, then 1% of taxable turnover. And what is the difference between turnover and taxable turnover? Turnover includes exempt supply also. But when we are talking about the taxable turnover, it's only include a taxable value of the goods and except the exempted supply. If you are manufacturer, 1% of turnover. If you are restaurant, then 5% of turnover you have to pay, including exempt supply also. And if you are other than service provider, then 6% of turnover you have to pay the tax given by the governments, the rates given by the governments. What is the condition for return filing under the GST composition scheme? There is a benefit of composition schemes. Main benefit is less return filing compliances. We need to file only 4 quarterly statement in the form of CMP 8. A CMP 8 is not actually return filing. It is a statement cum challan with a quarterly detail. At the end of financial year, we have to file a GSTR 4 and one annual GST return, that is GSTR 9A. Only we have to follow these compliances in the composition scheme. What is the condition? No benefit of input tax credit on purchase. If you are opting a composition scheme, then you cannot get the benefit of income tax credit on your purchase. Customer cannot also avail input tax credit purchase from composition dealer. If you are a composition dealer, then you cannot sell any of the goods by showing a tax, a GST tax. Means your customer cannot get the input tax credit. If you are a composition dealer, then you cannot also a business with e-commerce businesses like Amazon and Flipkart, Myntra, etc. You cannot deal with the non-taxable supply. Means you cannot supply the non-taxable goods also. If you supply a single rupees goods of non-taxable supply, your composition skill will be terminated at that time. Manufacturer who is manufacturing tobacco, pan masala, ice cream, cold drink cannot opt composition scheme. There is a certain manufacturer also who cannot get the benefit of the composition scheme, and that is a tobacco manufacturer, pan masala manufacturer, ice cream manufacturer, cold drink manufacturer. And that was all these things. Thank you so much. If you like this video, please subscribe, follow my channel, and press the bell icon. Thank you so much.